Okay, this one, oh boy, this one. This is this one's a doozy, guys. This is the React Pro 5-pin by Trophy Ridge, and this is an extremely high-end sight. This sight has everything. It has every bell and whistle you could ever think of, and then some, literally, and then some. So all the toolless and micro adjust features you're aware of, but they also have a little extra, and that's what they call the React technology. And here it says it accurately predicts what each pin gap will be based on the distance between your 20-yard pin and any other yardage. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I first heard of that, I understand the physics and the idea behind it. When I first heard that the site was going to implement it, I kind of called BS. I didn't think it would really work. But when they finally started hitting the market and we got to play with them, I was proved wrong, and I was kind of glad to be, because it's really cool. But again, high-end. Definitely, a site that's not for everybody with all the bells and whistles it does have, but for the people that are in the market for something like this, then by all means check this one out. I mean, down to the packaging, look at it. I mean, they spared no expense on this one. It details everything, tells you what all the dials are for, and I mean, it's just really, really well done. And the little things like that is something I just really appreciate. So let's bust into it, and we'll take a closer look and talk about this bad thing here. Dang. Wow. I mean, just wow, straight out of the packaging. I mean, that is crazy. I mean, very high end. I can't stress that enough. It has everything. I mean, just look at it. Just cosmetically, I mean, I usually go into detail a little bit about what I like, but I don't really need to specify it. I mean, just look at it. Cosmetically, this thing is sharp. Now, I do have one complaint about sites like these higher end ones. They just by their design, they all kind of have to be a little heavier, just because, I mean, they're packing a lot. I mean, they've got a lot going on, so they do weigh out more than what your average site would. I think this one's like right around the 9.5 ounce area, and it shows. But with that said, I mean, this still yet with sites like this is actually a lighter one of those sites. So these types of sites are heavy by nature, but this one is still one of the lighter ones of the bunch. So keep that in mind. But it definitely weighs out. But at the same time, that gives it a strong sense of just, dang, it's sturdy. It's so well built, obviously. The whole thing is good, high-end machined aluminum. Very well machined aluminum. I mean, the coating on it is just gorgeous. Oh, man, plenty of just everything. It looks fantastic. So I'll start with the pins. I mean, they're extremely bright. These are .019s. They glow, and a lot of that has to do with how their fiber optics are wrapped. If you see, I mean, they are completely exposed to light sources. They're not hidden behind anything. They have all kinds of different ways to gather light, and at the same time, they're protected like crazy. So you get the benefit of exposed fiber optics, but at the same time, they're protected by a very clear hard shell plastic casing. So that's actually a really clever idea. Again, little thing that goes a long way, because check those out. It does have a sight light on it too, though, and it's optional. And another really cool thing about this sight, a higher end feature, is I don't know if you've ever really used sight lights before, but normally if you turn one on, they'll glow. Like, you'll see excess light just shining all over the place, and that can be distracting. It spooks a lot of people. They're afraid it might scare off whatever they're hunting or something like that. But I actually have the light on right now, and you honestly can't even tell, except for the fact that the pin's got a lot brighter. There's no excess glowing or anything except for that little dot right there, which is nothing. But check this out. I'll actually turn this light off here. Crazy. I mean, that's awesome. So that's what that does. So as far as the overall features, the micro adjust and toolless, another thing that stands out and kind of makes this one clear that it's a little higher end and probably more expensive is just when you go to actually play with it. A lot of micro adjust and toolless adjust features out there can be kind of hard to work with. I have ran into some dials and wing nuts that you really just got to put your entire weight into to turn on, but these are very smooth. You just put the necessary pressure behind it. You don't have to fight with it. It turns, and the dials are as smooth as it gets. Every turn is a click, and every time you hear that click, it is it's making its adjustment. In this case, windage, which is anything that helps, and that helps. Same with the elevation. Just a quick turn of the wing nut, and twist the dial. Now with micro adjust and toolless features, you always got to remember to definitely loosen up that nut and before you go to adjust it, or you can strip out the micro adjust feature on it. But really easy to remember, and usually you'll notice pretty quick because nothing will be happening when you turn it. So fantastic. It does have a second and third axis adjustment on it that happens right here on the bracket. Now it's good practice on anything in archery. Really just it's basic maintenance, but on your bow, on your parts, you always want to check to make sure things are tight. After a few sessions or something, you just want to take an Allen wrench and bump everything and make sure it's good and snug. On sites that have adjustments like these with these types of setups, if these come loose on you, they can sort of undo some of your work, so you just want to occasionally make sure those stay snug after you work with them. But again, not really a grievance on this side, just sort of, you know, how things work. But that's pretty well obvious stuff. Good clear level, nice. This is a right-handed sight here. So let's get to the React technology, and I'll explain how that works. And again, it does. So what happens? Sighting in the top pin is pretty normal. You've probably ran into this on any other sight. You will be sighting in your top pin just like anything else. The top pin is fixed to the housing of the sight itself, so when you go to adjust it, we're going to call your top pin 20 yards in this case. So when you go to adjust your 20-yard pin, find wherever you're shooting, shoot. Say you're hitting high left, you'll move your entire housing. By making adjustments right here, move the housing up and to the left, or low right, just wherever you need to go. Chase your arrow just like you normally would, and by moving your housing, you'll be moving your pin with it, and you just take that pin wherever your arrow is hitting until it's sighted in. Now, next thing you do, once you have the housing and the top pin set, you just step back to your 30-yard mark. In this case, we're going to call the second pin 30 yards. So once you have the top pin set at 20 and the housing set at 20, step back to 30. Shoot, and at this point you will just be sighting in for your second pin down. So basically taking care of the drop that your arrow may have or whatever may be happening between your 20 and 30-yard mark. So you would have already set your windage and your windage for the housing and everything with your 20-yard pin. So in this case it should just be elevation. So say your arrow is hitting a little low, and all we need to do is move that second pin. We loosen up this right here, and this is actually your master adjustment for your pins. And check it out, when you go to move this, your top pin don't move, but the rest do. So if I need to move that, I'm going to move these all closer together so you can get an idea. So if I need to move my pin a little lower, I just do this, and if you look, they all move. So by moving that pin lower, all the rest of the pins fall in line, and they put the necessary distances between them. So at this point, if you're dialed in at 20 and 30, step back to 40, step back to 50. I mean, you may need to make a small windage adjustment just depending on how you shoot, but that works. It does. As far as setting your elevation, that takes care of it. So it's actually extremely cool just being able to turn that dial and watching the pins move. So I mean, just by dialing in. So basically, to recap, sight in your top pin and housing for 20 yards, step back to 30, sight in your second pin for the 30-yard mark, and then when you do that, the rest of the pins will fall in line. So extremely cool, and it works. So again, very high end, not for everybody, but for the ones that it is for, I mean, wow, it's excellent. So if this is the kind of sight you're in the market for, I definitely know these types of things can be complicated. They have a lot going on. Hopefully this video is able to shed some light on that for you, but if not, feel free to get in touch with us. Check out reviews online. I mean, do everything you need to do to make sure this sight is right for you. But that is the Trophy Ridge React Pro 5-pin sight, and it is, like I said, a doozy, so definitely check it out.